Hello there to anybody interested in testosterone studies. I am reading a comment here by somebody called, well, actually it doesn't matter what they're called, but they say, one could argue that steroids in low dosage under doctor's supervision are okay, but there is in fact a lot of research that points out the detrimental effects of steroids, particularly on the liver and lipid profiles like cholesterol, which results in heart disease. Coming off steroids causes depression while natural hormone levels are suppressed. This in itself has been linked to a number of suicides. And they go on to say that they have two friends that abused steroids and both are now dead. So my lack of testosterone in my body is a huge point of why I am not working and not feeling good in myself. Ultimately I'm not feeling good in myself, but I still feel fine on a daily basis. But through the day there could be points where I could go the other way altogether and feel like, oh, terrible. So being hormonally imbalanced can cause depression. The liver is an important point, because with the testosterone injections, it affects the liver. It normally affects the liver, badly over a prolonged amount of time. With the gels and stuff like that, it's supposed to be easier on the liver. Now people have suggested to me to take the gels, but personally I wouldn't be able to take the gels on a daily basis. I'd just forget. I'm not good at taking even antibiotics. It's a real struggle for me to stay on antibiotics, and when I do go on them, I generally fuck up at some point on it. So I'm not very good with this routine kind of discipline sort of stuff. But yeah, I was gonna say all artists are like that, but they're not. Just a stereotypical artist is. I was on testosterone for 13 years, and I wouldn't have had such an amazing life as I did without it. It gave me wings, so to speak, having testosterone in my body for the first time and balancing myself out for 13 years-ish. And it just made me feel totally different to what I feel right now, if anybody was to ask me. Because right now, even though it's 2 o'clock in the morning, but that's one point. I've got insomnia and I've got sleeping difficulties. And that's also connected with the internet and television screens. I don't have a television, but the computer screen can keep people awake. You're just fully alert when you're watching a screen. And time can fly when you're watching a screen. Time, I think, goes very slowly when you're hormonally imbalanced, because you're thinking of so much stuff. Now this, I don't want to generalize with absolutely everybody who's hormonally imbalanced. Not everybody feels the same way, but that should be obvious, shouldn't it? With me, a human being, saying to another human being, you should just take that clearly, that obviously I'm not going to be speaking for you exactly. Testosterone has affected me badly. For instance, I wouldn't be very social at the moment in general. I wouldn't be I wouldn't be going up to women to chat them up and following through with anything like, do you want to come home with me? I'd just be talking with them, and I'd never make a move as such, because I would be just thinking to myself, there's just no point. For a start, I don't feel off testosterone totally part of this world. And it's funny, because this is why I went off testosterone. I really wanted to experiment with these feelings. When I went off testosterone 2 years ago, I felt on top of the world. I really did. I absolutely felt totally fine in myself. Apart from now being banned from XXY talk at the same time, but apart from that, I was absolutely fine with myself. Even more than fine, I was excellent. I was really good. And so that's why I chose that time when I was feeling absolutely excellent and full of myself in a good way. That okay, I can do this, and I could do it, and I did do it, and I have done it, and I'm still doing it. But it has been detrimental to me, and I knew that it would be. In fact, last year, if I'd taken the testosterone again last year and only did a 1-year experiment, which was my plan in the first place, then I wouldn't have stayed off it long enough to actually feel a difference. Because last year, after 1 year of being off testosterone, I didn't feel any really huge difference. Just slight points. Okay, the slight points would have been, a bit more touchy, sensitive, narky stuff. Then a bit more tiredness and concentration levels down more, stuff like that. But then going into the second year of testosterone, then it really started to kick in. The extremes of these things that I just said a minute ago, and stuff like that. So it's been a hell of a road, to be honest. To be honest with you, I can't really wait to get back on testosterone. The only problem is just getting back into the routine of going to the doctor every month and getting it. That really annoys me. But all in all, it's been a very, very, very important trip for me. Down memory lane, I suppose, a bit, because before I got the testosterone in the first place, when I was about 17 or 18, I would have felt very much like I feel now, except I was a teenager and I didn't know any better. And so now I'm an adult, and yeah, it's not as tough to deal with when you're an adult, when you've been through at least 10 or 12 or 15 years of your life without home, without family, and that sort of thing, like away from the nest, and to get to know yourself, and that's what everybody, in my opinion, in life is the best thing to do, is get to know yourself, work with yourself, work on yourself, and just try and be better all the time, and admit and forgive yourself for your mistakes. You're allowed to hate yourself for certain points of yourself for a while, but then get out of the hate of it and forgive yourself and accept yourself, and try and change yourself a bit if you can. Compromise on behaviours sometimes, things like that. I was talking to my friend Philip, and he was just, Gavin, you are a comedian, and I said to him, yeah, but nobody on YouTube sees that really. They only see the negative, and then I also said to Philip that I can't concentrate when I'm just in the room talking to myself. I'm thinking of what am I going to say, or what did I even say, and what do I want to say, So I said to him that I'd really like me and him to do some videos together, conversations, and edit that out. I'm glad I'm yawning now, because I really want to get to sleep. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm dreading that I'll be up until 4 o'clock in the morning doing something stupid, and then it'll just be a continuation of craziness in my life, of getting up at crazy hours and going to sleep at crazy hours. A couple of people of my friends on YouTube have been mentioning that actually on themselves, that they have erratic sleep patterns. And also, I was talking to somebody on some instant message service, and they were telling me of their want and their lust for, they've got a lot of hatred towards the world, and they see themselves as being mass murderers in the future, or just murderers in the future, and this is the whole thing, that I really do feel that there is a possibility of helping people like this, instead of just shunning them away and putting them on drugs and putting them in mental institutions or putting them into prison. I really do think there are ways and there are root problems to all these things that we're not dealing with. We're just dealing with all root problems with laws that are outdated from the 18th century, and it's time to change all of that. So I do hope that we'll all get together here on YouTube and try and change the world into a better world, and let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I mean, of course we're not going to get a perfect world, but we'll try and make a better world, and that's truly what I'm on YouTube for, and I'm looking forward to more people as I get more positive in my brain and start smiling more and entertaining you all and keeping you all happy. I know, happy and sad, all good, balanced. Ciao.